Me not think half a people subscribe to me thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that should be the core of the base.
Alright, so we're online now. Alright. Alright. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Good night, all football fans, local and abroad. Let me take the time out of welcoming you to this another episode of the Saudichress show. This is where you will be entertained, of course, through sports and education. This is the channel that will take you to the highest limit, especially where do you want to go. I will take you there, but we will not reach there together unless we actually work together. You know, there's a saying that says that a chain is as strong as its weakest link. And so this Saudichress show is a chain by itself with many links. And of course, expecting that we actually work together. Tonight's show, of course, as you have seen in your invitation, will be one that, again, I must say, to miss is to this. And for those of you who are already logged in, I will tell you, you will have a very good night. And you will have to tell the others what transpired. We have a special guest with us. But before I do any form of introduction, I will just take the time out to acknowledge our sponsors, ladies and gentlemen. And we want to acknowledge PIBA, the Past Adrenaline Ballers Association. We want to acknowledge Nose and Toad Heating and Cooling System. Also, Fine Cut Barbering out of California. We want the Deja Vu Retro Party, Solid Rock Black Factory, Entertainment or the Satisfaction Entertainment and Electronics Crew, Juki Shipping, again coming out of New York. We also have other sponsors that we will continue to highlight them as we move into tonight's show. Again, for all my first time viewers, welcome, welcome, welcome to you all. And if you have not yet done so, please remember to subscribe, leave a like, and share the Saudichress channel. This is the only way we'll grow, and so we empower, we ask that you put your little much into this aspect of the show. So again, ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned that tonight's show, if you see on screen, we have a very, very interesting guest, one that many of us actually waiting for. And so no other than the latest beaten finalist, the coach of the beaten finalists of the Dakar Cup, Mr. Jermaine E.T. Douglas. As it is, Mr. Douglas is no stranger to many of us, but especially for those persons who have left our shores and continue to listen and to view, especially football back here. You are now learning of Mr. Douglas and his voice. I'm not good at introduction, so there will be nobody else better to do that than the man himself. Mr. Douglas, welcome to the Saudichress show. And I would like for you, sir, in just 2 minutes, introduce yourself to our wonderful viewers and listeners. You're open 2
Sorry, thank you
minutes.
for having me. Good evening, viewers, good evening, listeners. I'm Jermaine Douglas, currently the coach of Centralized School, La Costa Cup team. Recently lost the finals of the La Costa Cup. I'm also, I know this channel is very adrenaline centered. I'm a past student of Adrenaline High School. Played a little bit of football for Adrenaline. Unfortunately, this year, Adrenaline got eliminated by Centralized School, but such is the game. We look forward to another season next year.
All right. So, Douglas, you made mention of Edunali, and as a past student of Edunali, which year did you leave Edunali, sir?
I graduated with the class of 99.
Of 99. You hear that, people? Very young man. Very, very young man. You know. All right. So, after leaving Edunali, what was the journey? Give us a little about your journey, leaving high school and moving on.
Well, I left Terminal in 99. I returned to play Bacasta Cup the following season. Unfortunately, I got injured in pre-season, so I never got a chance to kick a ball that season. Got injured against Charlie Moon. Still vivid in my mind.
Oh.
Still somewhat upset on the circumstances under which I was in there, but we move on, yeah? Then went on to GC Foster College. As a matter of fact, looking back at the journey now, I only applied for one institution after leaving high school. Being mature now and understanding that there is no guarantee. I thought at the time it was a risk, but it paid off.
Okay. So, have you ever applied for a job at Udinali?
Oh, yes, man. When I left, I spent 2 stints at GC Foster.
Okay.
In those days, you graduate with a diploma.
Mm-hmm.
So I left with my diploma. I applied to most of the schools within close proximity, geographically to me. Edmonton. Never got a response from Edmonton, unfortunately. But I guess that wasn't the best thing to be at the time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, which school was your first teaching job? Because I know you're a teacher, and so, I mean, many of us looking at you now as a coach, but you're a teacher, still a teacher. But where did you start your professional career?
Well, my first teaching job was at Kellett's High School. I spent 8 months at Kellett's High. Yeah, I was also at your institution, your former institution at Yorton for a while. I did my practicum there
I don't remember.
at Yorton. Yes, I got a job there too now. I was offered a job after doing an interview, but the day when I was offered the job, I was leaving another institution where after I come my interview, the person decided that I'm not going to leave until I sign. And just as I left that institution and was on the way to take taxi to go home, the principal from Yorton called me. But I had already signed, so I'm kind of loyal that way. It's kind of one of my weaknesses.
Loyalty. Well, it's a good weakness to have, you know. And talking about loyalty, how long have you been at Central High School?
I came to Central 2012.
Wow. So you're a
Started
loyal.
coaching 2013.
So you're a loyal man for real.
Yeah, and I've gotten a number of offers to leave, you know.
But Mr.
But
Douglas, hold on. I think I jumped the gun there, you know. But you were at a different school before Central.
yeah, man, that said school that offered me the job on spot, you know. I think the next state was good in high school. Yeah, man. They decided not to leave the office until I signed that 503 form. So I got the job there. I was there for 6 years.
So that's where you started your coaching career.
I coached at Chelsea, but because it was a short stint, we had some good players. I think that is probably the best set of players Kelly's have ever assembled. But I never got a chance to see those players blossom. Partially because after the 8 months, I wanted to go back and pursue my bachelor's. And then when I completed my bachelor's, I decided not to go back to the area. I wanted to stay closer to the urban area so that I could grow as an individual and professional too.
I remembered while you were at Tation Schooling, I think I was coaching at you at an high school. I guess many of our viewers wouldn't believe that I am a coach or I was a coach.
Yeah,
I
man, indeed.
I went up against you a number of times. And
Yes, man.
I guess we have split the spoil. But I've seen you with a team. I've seen you with a team that make it to the second round. And I was very impressed then. What was like this stint like at coaching at Teachers Golden?
Teachers Golden was a journey, and sometimes in life, things are predestined to happen. I have never had the opportunity, the luxury of working underneath me or with an experienced coach. And I went to Teachers Golden, I went there, I was learning, but the players, they were also learning. I remember my first encounter with football at Teachers Golden. And I sat and I said, Jesus Christ, what is my take up? But those youngsters, I'm kind of a calculated and strategic person, And very early on, I realized that when you're going to build, you have to think long term. And so what I did was I got a number of youngsters, and I drilled it into their head that, listen, you're going to get a lot of beating, But eventually those persons that are beating you, they're going to have to leave school. So you can take your beating.
That's a very good one.
Yeah, take your beating until it's your time to dish it out. And they did that. They believed in me. That's the most important thing.
So, talking about believing you, how did you really capture those boys? I mean, you went there for probably a very short stint and you had gotten them to do what you want to do. You share your philosophy, I suppose. How did you capture
Yes.
those guys?
I don't know, but it's a not forgetting through to youngsters. And it's at the forefront of everything I do. Football is not the most important thing within my interactions with youngsters. So once they see that you have their best interest at heart and you teach them life lessons, life skills,
Yes.
you can get them to get water from the moon. Believe me.
Mr. Douglas, when I missed you, in this zone of football here in Linstead, St. Catherine, I was told that you have moved on to greener grass. I heard late that you went to Central. How was that move? How did you get to Central? Were you recruited, or did you apply for a job?
It's a strange thing,
And I want you to be honest with us. I want you to be honest with you because
Yeah,
you talk
I'm
about
always
loyalty.
honest.
You talk about loyalty, so I just want you to be honest. Because nothing is wrong. Go
Mm.
ahead.
I'm always honest. I was asked a number of times by different institutions to join. Central being one of them. The Bursar Central the Bursar Teachers Golden is actually the principal's wife from Central High School. So I shared this with you earlier. After qualifying Teachers Golden for the first time for the interzone round, immediately after qualification, my goalkeeper at the time, his mother and uncle got killed violently.
Wow.
And so I was close to that family because I had coached the bigger brother. Because I coached cricket as well and track and field when I just went to Teachers
What
School.
you saying, man?
Yes, man.
I have a lot to
So I
talk about.
coached the bigger brother cricket. He played football as well, but he was a very talented cricketer. But got a shoulder injury and that curtailed his career. So I was close to the family, so close that the mother. I'm a picky eater. I'm a vegetarian. And once those persons got a hold of that, the family, and a Sunday when I was in Brownsall, because I was living on the flat in Brownsall, I go home most weekend. But any Sunday that I was there, the mother would prepare dinner and send for me. And so when she was killed, it kind of hurt. It kind of hit me in a very, very sacred place. And so I was around the family. I went to the funeral and I was introduced to Mr. Vinay Harrison, who at the time was the principal at Central High School. And he has been trying for over a year. He was trying to get me to move to Central. I wasn't interested. As I said, I'm a loyal person and I had a good thing going at Central at the time. Our time, things was going at the time.
Yes.
But then things happen. Like I said, I look for the welfare and well-being of my youngsters. After creating history for the school, I never thought they were treated fairly. And I remember an incident happened and I called Mr. Harrison and said, "Are you serious?" And he said, "What do you mean that I'm serious? Come and see me tomorrow morning." And I went and the rest says history. I never had an application at Central. I never did an interview. I was called in, spoken to, and given a job. And to be honest, for the first month at Central I never had a timetable.
So,
Right?
very interesting. Very, very interesting, Mr. Douglas. People, you are watching One on One with Mr. Jermaine Douglas, aka E.T., a very upcoming and passionate football coach. As you have heard before, you have even coached cricket and track and field. This man has said to us that he's very, very loyal to his employers and also to his job. Not more so to the youngsters that he actually lead. So, Mr. Douglas, you went to Central High, and that was which year again?
I went there 2012.
2012.
Yeah.
What
Started
was
in 2013.
your first post at Central High?
Well, like, I went there as a teacher. I was charged with going there with, I had two things that I had to do. I was tasked with doing. One was Central, I was not sitting CSEC physical education because I was a physical education teacher. I still am a physical education teacher. I'm not actively teaching physical education now, but I was charged with implementing that program, the CSEC program at Central High, and also trying to get the football team to a level where it could be competitive in a very difficult and challenging parish. So those were the two things that I was charged with.
Okay. So how did you move on to, how did you start your football program? Did you actually present a written program to the principal or to the physical education HOD? How did you start? How did you get your buy-in to as a coach at Central High?
Like I said, I was recruited. So the principal knew exactly what I could do. And so when I went there, I was asked for the first year. As a matter of fact, like I said, I went there 2012. There were other persons running the program at the time, and I was asked by the principal to take over, and I declined. Because I said that it's in the middle of the season, they would have started their program, their preparation.
Okay.
And I thought it was unfair for me to just come in barging. So I went there initially, I assisted them,
Mhm.
and it gave me an opportunity to do my assessments as well. So
Okay.
after that season in 2012, being in the background, I put together my program and set the targets that I wanted to accomplish and sat with the principal. And like I said, one of the biggest challenge I had was there was talent. There's always talent at Central High School. But there was an inferior complex among the students at Central High. They never felt that they could compete with the schools in and around the Maypen area. And you know those schools and the level of programs that exist. So that was the first hurdle. And I said to the principal, we have to get our students to start believing that they can compete. And he never thought that it was an issue. But he later on accepted that we had an issue. And so we charted a course forward.
All right. In terms of knowing as a coach, and as an administrator, I always look towards setting up my own plans and programs. And I figured that most, if not all, successful coach would have done such things. What sort of program were you looking forward to in terms of timeline versus success?
The minimum for me was like 3 years. It was the minimum. It took a bit longer than that.
Okay.
As people would have seen throughout the season, and every time I get an opportunity, I highlighted some of the issues, some of the challenges. They are never used as excuse for me, but they exist. And so we would have said, all right, in 3 years, the minimum objective, Central had never gone to the second round. So that was the first objective. So break down that barrier. That breaking down that barrier, I thought would have relieved some of the inferior complex. And so that was the first challenge. And so we went about that. A few years we got eliminated by a point, 2 points, goal difference at 1 point. Or top zone. And so every time that happens, you have to regroup and it's more mental with the players. There was a point when our players thought that there was a particular school that they thought that we could never win a match there because no matter how well we played, it came out with nothing.
You know, every zone in the Costa Cup you go. A matter of fact, even in the Manning Cup, there are some schools that, you know, the layman would have said that school they jinx a particular school or it's just like you can't beat those schools. So then your 3-year program and you gone into Central to take over from persons who were there probably some years before. How receptive was the community of Effortville and Maple, you know, in and around the school, to you as a new coach?
Well, like I said, when I came in, I remember I was having a session. Two things kind of stand out for me. One was my eventual captain, who was the one who was leading the team when we made that breakthrough in 27. We were having a session. There's an open lot beside the school. Like I said, the school does not have a proper play field. But there's an open lot beside the school, and sometimes we'll have training sessions there. And during the summer, we were having a session, midday session, because when I just went there, we had 3 sessions per day. During the midday, we would do technical work. So straight technical, nothing else. And we were having a session, and a man was passing by, worked at Grace. And to be honest, I'm talking to you about this, and it kind of, I'm not a very emotional person, but it stirs some emotion because he was probably our most loyal supporter, became our most loyal supporter.
Okay.
And he passed last year.
Wow, I can imagine. R.I.P.
Yeah, man, and trust me, he was able to transfer his son. His son was the parish program, and he was there to transfer him to another prominent school in the parish. And he stopped, watched the session, went over to the school. When he was passing back, he stopped and watched the session again. And I saw him and I never said anything. Like I said, he had on a grey shirt, so it was obvious that he worked at Grace. And then he came over. And he said, are you the new coach? And I said, yes, man. And he said, you know, I have a son that attends the school, that plays football, he plays for the parish. So I said, so where is he? Because I thought he was in the session.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, he's home. And I said, how old is he? He said, he's in grade 8. And he said, you know, he's come for transfer him. And I said, why? He said that another school wants to recruit. And I was there, I said, okay. And he said, but you know, I stand up and watch his training session. I'm not about to move him. So immediately I said, can he come in tomorrow? And he said, yes, man. The youngster was 14 at the time. Mm-hmm. Remember, we are on deep jump. But as I've always said, talent does not have age. And I said, send him come. And the next morning, the youngster came with his box. And came on down. Very good youngster. All day and weekly.
Mm-hmm.
And he formed the core of the team that eventually qualified. A number of them around that age group are just in and around 14, 15.
No. I tell you,
so that was the first story. The other one is, there was a gentleman that was at the vendors at the gate. And I was having a session one day. And he came across and said, Coach, I love what you're doing, but you come here too late. So I'm saying, like, what do you mean too late? I'm saying, you come here, I know that talent gone. And so, where I was coming from, mm-hmm. I thought I had talent in front of me. Oh. But he thought otherwise. And I later learned that is actually factual.
Yes.
And once we started playing, and the community came out and saw the type of football that was being played by the team. So persons were kind of receptive to me as a coach in the community, and I quickly blend into the community.
So, Mr. Douglas, I heard your stories. One thing that caught me though, you made mention of you never have a football field. Is that you still don't have a football field at Central?
I'm gonna tell you something, sorry, I don't know if it's a curse, you know. I have never worked at a school with a proper playing field. Never.
You need to come to my school. You know where my school is?
Huh? Which one of your school? Is it the alma mater or the school that you are currently in charge of?
I'm talking about my school, sir. Don't ask me about alma mater. You do your research. I have a very big field up there, you know. But
Oh, yeah.
that's just a little crack though. But the fact is, you are saying that open lot that you trained at Central, it's probably much better than the little piece of ground that you have at the school.
Yeah, man. The playing field on the school, and the playing field that we see now. I don't know if your viewers would have seen a feature that TVJ did, and it's actually in better condition than when I first got to Central. When I got to Central, it was a field that had a netball court on it, and some of the concrete that formed the netball court was still on the field.
Wow.
And I went to some of my boys and dug out the remaining concrete to make the field playable. But you see, sorry, like I said, I don't make excuses. And I never complain whenever results don't go my way. I've never complained that, listen, we don't have any field or we don't have any bus. But I drilled into the youngsters that, listen, if you can play on this, you can play on anything. And they believe, and that is the most important.
Mr. Douglas, really? How did you really get those boys to be playing that tactical and technical football? Which throughout your training, give me excuse of your practice matches because you must have gone to different fields to play your practice matches. But knowing that he doesn't have a field, how did you get those boys to play the way they play? Because I've watched your team played maybe for the second year. I've seen you last year. The one game I've seen, I was pretty impressed. I think you have lost that game to Glenmuir. I don't remember. But, learning that you doesn't have a field really and to see boys playing, using the entire width of a field in a football game. How did you do that?
There are occasions in which we may venture to a proper playing field to train. But even that on itself is a mammoth task. The distance from Central Eye to the play field that we use occasionally, Chibushy Park, 3 kilometers.
Wow.
The school just got back a bus last month. The bus was stolen March 2018. So in order for us to reach there to train, boys walk, train, walk back.
Wow.
Even when we were playing practice games throughout the summer, they would walk there for a 10 o'clock game, 10 a.m. game, play in the sun, and then walk back to school. We have to convince them, because psychology is an important part of the job. I have to convince them that, listen, this is a part of the training.
Seems like you're running a boot camp.
But you have to do with what you have. And to answer the question about getting them to play, at no time during a football match, we lose the entire field to play. At no time. The game is part, whole. So you break up the game into small sections, and then during a match you try to fit those sections together. So we kind of use that philosophy to get them to
with that,
play.
With that, sir, I am just gonna give you a little break. You're not leaving you. I'm just gonna go to the chat just to hear what other persons have been saying in the chat. So we have Gregory Messam. Greetings. Big up yourself, Gregory. Dallas Harris, blessings, Kevin. All right, my chairman, bless up. What is that? Gunner for life. Big up my youth. Dallas Harris again. Big up Central coach. Dallas Harris is a past student of Central. Do you hear? The PBA chairman.
Alright.
When I give you nothing for go hold on pan now, you know, my boss. Alright. Dallas Harris, I attended Central as well when it was Maypen Secondary. You didn't know that it was Maypen Secondary before, sir?
Yes, man.
I'm just not talking about the research that you did, you know.
No, man, I know about
Prior
the
to you
institution,
going to
man. Like I
Central,
said,
prior to you going to Central,
yeah.
you knew it was Maypen Secondary?
When I was going to go
Prior
to
to
work,
you, yes.
yes, man, I remember I'm from Clarendon, Masari.
Okay.
I would have been a part of the Edmonton team that baptized Central when they entered football.
Oh my God. Why you doing that? Be careful, you know. Be
Yeah,
careful.
man.
Alright. Trevor Whittick. Big up the Central coach. Well done. Big achievement. Alright. That's Trevor Whittick. Gonna for life. Also Central was actually Maypen Secondary. Yes, boss. Gregory Messam. Healings. Highly blessings to all these Centrals. Congrats. Gaffer. Sir Kevin. Up full me bro. Alright, Messam. Dale Thompson. Bless up Sadi, just a giant. Better to delete. Yeah, man, that is so true. Glad to see you, man. Good, good. Leo Face, congrats on historic season at Central. Big bro at ET. You know that name, Leo Face?
I'm a skipper, that man.
Huh?
Yeah, please skipper, the hiccup skipper. Pick up yourself here.
What you say? Well, Leo, you are going good, man. You have clout. Leo, I'm going to tell, half the year I'm going to tell Central what you're doing these days, you know.
Kind
Again,
of follow
people.
you. I'm going to talk more time, you know, so I kind of have an idea what is happening.
Lord have mercy. Boy, I know bigger than me. All right, people. Again, I ask that if for you, if you're the first time viewer joining us on this show, I would like for you to subscribe, leave a like, and of course share the Saudichress channel. I'm seeing in the analysis people, and we have quite a number of persons viewing, but so far we only have 5 likes. Come on, man, don't be afraid. Touch that like button. And I figured that some of you have not yet you have not signed in to join the channel or to join the show. You need to sign in so you can participate by texting or in the chat and also like and share. Of course, I want you to subscribe as well. And please remember, ladies and gentlemen, you can call in the show. You don't have to keep texting and chatting. I can't take all the chats at once, but you can call in live. Call in at WhatsApp 501-6625 or 423-8454. Again, 501-6625 and 6621 rather, and I'm getting it wrong, you know. Or 423-8454. So call in and make your voice be heard. Remember, we're speaking to Mr. Jermaine Douglas, aka ET, the coach that has brought Centralized School in the 2022 Doncaster Cup season to the final. And for those of you who watched that final, I thought at one point they stood a chance to win. It was an interesting game, and we'll get there very soon. But let's continue to look at the journey of my friend Jermaine. So, Jermaine, Central High, you have made it through. What was the biggest scoreline that you had in the first round in terms of victory?
I think we had a 5-0 victory against
Against a baby side.
against Spacious Golden.
Listen,
Is it 5 or 6? I don't really keep track of those things, you know, the 3 points that I keep track of sometimes.
if I had really known that it was Teacher's Golden, I wouldn't ask the question. Because
I love Spacious Golden. I have a lot of good people at Spacious Golden.
Yes, and I know they probably
There's still
looking out.
a lot of them came to the game on Saturday.
Wow.
Spacious Golden.
You have your back in
Yes.
it, man. That's nice. That's so nice. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make that game, but you know, I watch on TV. Anyhow, I watched the second game I watched with you this year was against Irving. I think that was the first knockout stage, the very second one.
Yeah.
And I see that team that you played, and I realized that this Central team is a good ball playing team. I don't think you started that game positive. I mean, maybe the boys were a bit edgy at the start of the
Yeah,
game.
man.
But I remember I spoke to you and, asked you about a particular player. And you even highlight to me, that's not the player that person actually came out to watch. Only one player I had in mind. And so when I continue watching, I realized that this man have a two-prong youth. Them two youth are to me will bring this team out in terms of connection on the field and the motivation going on. Tell me about those two star players, 10 and 11.
I don't think saying star players, man, is something I try to avoid among my team.
I'm not saying the better. I'm not saying your best players. All
So
of your
I'm
players
just saying
are
about the
stars.
10 and the 11.
Yes, I know that all your players are stars, man. I just said star players because they have made it through to the finals.
Yeah, man. So the 10 and the 11, the number 10 is actually Nathaniel Poe.
Mm-hmm.
And Nathaniel is a unique case, man. Nathaniel is the second of three brothers that plays for Central Life. The bigger brother, the eldest brother, played last season. It was his last season for us. Nathaniel is currently playing, both of them played one season together. And then there's a smaller brother that is now in the under 14 team.
Okay.
All good players. All good players. He's technically very good. Very good. Diminutive player short, but I can tell you, he can out jump a 6 footer easily. He's that athletic. Has some temperament problem we are working on, but very, very talented player.
Okay. That was the player I look at.
Go again?
That was the player I was looking at. I never know about the 11 until you said it to me. But go ahead, continue.
Yeah, man. Shane was the one who caught the eye of most of the persons who watched the first game, especially the televised game against Precious Golden. That double-header Premier Sportsman's game.
I saw that game.
Shane is a player that, if you are a pure football person, you would go and watch Shane. He's smooth on the ball, left-footed, technically very gifted, and nothing phases him. But he's more of a withdrawn person than Nathaniel. Mm-hmm. Nathaniel is aggressive and will want to take up the team on his shoulder. Shane is just in the system and functioning in the system. But within a split second, he can change again. And he did that against Edinal. In a split second, he can change again.
Very good. And the matter of Edinal, Sir Douglas, that game you played against Edinal, you went into that game on 0 points. What was it? -3 goals?
Yes, -3.
0 points and -3 games. I'm going to ask you this. Prior to the game, did you really believe you could have made it to the semi-final? And I'm asking you, I know as a coach, you always thinking of winning. But based on how the zone was, based on how the teams and the lineup was, what was really your thought starting that game?
You know, the best we are going for us in that game. But this is not about me. The best thing we had going for us in that game was most of Jamaica and maybe all the teams in the zone thought we were out, including Edinal.
Yes.
So, but we played against Dintil. Again, we lost by 3-1. We should not have lost that game, at least not by that margin. And I listened to your program the other day, and my good friend Anthony Garwood was on. And he's the first person I heard analyze the game and realize that we should not have lost that game. And it was his team that we were playing against.
True.
Everybody else came and they said, hey, Dintil. But if you look at the game and the goals that we conceded, it was just an unfortunate day. So when we came out during the game, I was calculating. And I had some conversation with some person, even some of your colleagues, YouTubers, after the game.
Mm-hmm.
And they were of the impression that it was an impossible task. But when I did the math, I knew that it wasn't as difficult as persons thought, but I kept that close to me because I knew that persons would come, believing that we never had a chance. And that would be an advantage for us. And I tell you something, so it's that even when we were preparing for the game,
Mm-hmm.
and I do a lot of research going into the games. I do a lot of research. And so when we were preparing a particular system to play against Edinburgh. When I went to training the final evening, one of my wing back had an hamstring injury.
Wow.
That happened. He got up in the morning, went on the field, and that happened. And I was upset about that. The other one, the right back, was out on cards. And during training, the left back, the number 2, went down with a groin injury. This is the first time during the season we're having injury concerns of that nature. And I sat there and when the training session was completed, I sat with the persons who were on the team, my assistant and another person who volunteered to help, my good friend. Big up yourself, Stefano. Um, and I said, listen, this is the situation right now. The only way we can go into that game tomorrow with any chance to win is I am going to change the formation that we have been playing all season. And I called the players together and they stood static. We didn't do anything on the field or anything at all because I said by now players were dropping like flies. So I said I just cut the training session. I just called them together and said, listen, stand here. And I put them in a formation, gave them a ball in hand, and said, pass the ball around and said, this is how we are going to approach the game. These are your supporting players every area on the field. This is how we are going to attack. This is where we are going to build. This is where we are going to push. Never had an active session with them. And 3 players who had not played prior started that game against Edinburgh because of the formation change.
Well, you said those 3 players have never played prior to that
Not
game?
played.
The
Right.
whole season?
Whole season. One of them played one game. He started the game and came off at halftime.
What a tactical move. No.
But we knew what to do and we made the adjustment and it worked. Because sometimes you do things and it don't work out as coach. But you have to be brave enough to and believe in your players, get them to believe in you too. Because if you change the system the day before a match and the players don't believe in you, you're not going to get it.
Yeah, man, that's a catastrophe, may I tell you. That would have been really, really sad. But, coach, I don't know if you remember clearly, but we had a short conversation before the match. You remember?
Yes, man.
Would you like to share with the viewers the conversation we had?
Well, the conversation we had before the match was about the chance that I had. Like by now people have known that there's a connection between Edwin and I. Alright? And I was trying to convince her that we can make it. I don't think we're on the same page in terms of what we needed to do.
Right.
Because not many persons, and even listening to the analysts, they got it wrong as well. A lot of persons got it wrong in terms of the number of goals we needed to score. But in a situation where you're playing directly against the team you're trying to surpass, every goal is basically counting for 2. And I knew that. But when I listened to persons doing preview of the game,
Right.
they were getting it wrong. All we were hoping for was that what we expected Clarendon College would have taken care of.
We talk about
So we knew what
we spoke about that, and as you mentioned that you probably were on the different side, and I think I've said to you that I think Clarendon College probably could have been linked till 2-love. That was the take, and I was saying that if that is the case, for you to go through, then you'll have to probably win by 4 clear goals, if that was the case. But it worked your way, and so they were being 4-0.
Yeah.
And that allows your deficit of 4 to cut into 2. or cut into half.
Right.
But even though, Dougie, at what point in the game you really see the light? I'm sure that
Uh,
you were optimistic at the start, but at what point during the game did you say yes, or what make you give you that full belief that we are no one course?
you said the first maybe about 20 minutes of the game,
Yes,
I think the tone was set. I don't know if you remember that early on we had the ball in the back of the net
yes, I remember.
and it was found offside. But what we were doing throughout the first half, although the first half ended nil,
Yes,
we were constantly creating opportunities. We were constantly creating opportunities. We were constantly penetrating. And I think adrenaline was a bit flat. I think they came not sure whether or not they should go on the offense or stay compact. And I think that worked into our favor.
I believe so too.
What boosted us was midway through the first half, we got information about what was happening in the other game. And so the halftime talk was easy. And I just said to them, listen, London College is taking care of business. But it counts for nothing unless we take care of our business. And like I said, they went to the second half and they took care of business.
I remember, just before halftime, you asked about the score. I did said it, but I think that was the moment you really see, hey, the next hurdle is lower than the one we started first. I think that's weird. I was doing the commentary. I was watching both benches. I was looking at the demeanor from the coaches, the fans, and how the fans cheer and so on. And I realized that, listen, there will be a big change in the second half. I never lean to any particular team as it relates to the change. I still believe at halftime that Adrenaline has a glorious opportunity. I still believe that. And even when you took a 1-0 lead, because you were on the, Central had the better of play during that time, and you actually maximized your opportunity. So I could understand. And during the commentary, I was wondering, why is it that I am seeing the Central team playing this way and the Adrenaline team not playing the type of game that, well, that's just for me, would have been expected. Then I never communicate that way because I am doing commentary. But, throughout the game, I realized that, hey, the news that you got from that Clarendon College game has uplifted not just you, but the entire Central fans. The mode of the chanting and celebrations prior to even you scoring was obvious. And I must say kudos to you. You, at that point, I have seen the adjustment. I saw that adjustment during the game, the second half especially. And so I could have said, hey, that's a tactical move, and he has hinted something. But I must say again, congratulations. It was a job well done. It was one that was very hard even for me to digest. Even though I tried not to be biased during my commentary, but the fact is, we all are adrenaline, eh? And I know that night, I am sure you never had a comfortable sleep that night with that bit. That was a bittersweet victory for you. How the feeling
Well,
was?
somewhat, but in the line of work, you have to be professional about it. And I said to you after the game that if it's any team that I'm coaching against adrenaline, I am going to win. If it's adrenaline against anyone else, I am all adrenaline. But I have learned to separate my emotions from my profession over the years.
That speaks volume of Mr. Jeremy Douglas, a man who says he's very loyal to his job, his employers, and the youth that he actually taking care of. All right, so you have moved to the semi-final, Mr. Douglas. Yes, bubbling with confidence. And you have joined a team that you had played before in Manchester. What was the mood like in the camp?
I think that's where coaching now became a bit more psychological rather than tactical. The semi-finals for Central Light is enchanted waters. We have been to the quarterfinals before. At the beginning of the season, most players would not believe me. But at the beginning of the season, the minimum objective set for the boys was the semi-finals. Because I
Oh,
challenged them.
okay.
And I said, listen, in 2017, Central I went to quarterfinals at the Acosta Cup for the first time. Those boys would have etched their names in history. The only way you can create history for yourself is to surpass that.
Very
So the
good.
minimum requirement was the semi-final. So having gotten there, you have to remind them of what the objective is. And we played Manchester. Manchester had an important player out when we played them in the first match. We
Okay.
had our captain out. So we were hearing words coming out that the Manchester player would make the difference. But I also thought that my skipper
That made
would
that
make a
difference.
difference. Yeah. To be honest, it wasn't the type of performance that I like for my team. The semi-final, even the final. Um, you have seen, man. Most people who just started watching Central Iowa when we got to the semi-final would have seen a different team than the team that progressed from the first round onward.
True.
Because those boys can play ball. But psychologically, it was getting into their head and to let them know that, listen, it's the result that counts at this point. If you play the pretty football, and over the years we have played some beautiful football and have lost.
So
So
you opted for the ugly win this time around.
it's the result that matters. No one will remember the aesthetics of the game. Yeah? They will remember who won, who lost. And we are what? Maybe 2 weeks now on from the semi-finals. Not even fully 2 weeks. And
So,
I'm not sure that many people are talking about who played the better game on that night.
in a few weeks' time, we don't even gonna hear who were at the semi-finals. That is so true. But Coach Douglas, you have made it to the semi-final, and it also give you another lift, send you into another competition, the Champions League. What was the feeling like? Playing,
Uh,
you're gonna find
every,
yourself now,
accom-
country versus town.
every accomplishment for us, we take great pride in. When you are breaking barriers, and you have to allow the youngsters to recognize that, listen, what you're doing is not just for you. You are trying to change a culture in an institution. You are trying to change the mindset of students who would have, for years, been looking up to these schools and seeing them as the creme de la creme, the elite, and you
Yes.
are now able to compete. So you have to go out there and represent and allow your colleagues at school to believe that, listen, we can compete with these teams, regardless of where they are located, much financial backing they have. And KC is not no stranger to Central, sorry.
Mm-hmm. How comes?
Yeah. From 3 consecutive years. And I want to say enough is to Lord Bernard. 3 consecutive years. Kingston College left Kingston, come to Maypen to play against Central High School. When no one knew about Central High as any footballing force. But he came the first year on the invitation of his physical trainer who did his practicum at Central High.
Okay.
And when he came back first year, very few supporters came with him. So you know, I have a play like a school down, so nobody know them.
Where's the little school
And
and
the
have no
game,
feel?
exactly. And the game was so competitive. And at the end of the game, he was grateful that he came. Because I'm not sure that he was certain that he was going to get anything out of the game. And he was commending the organization of the team and the structure. And
Mm-hmm.
so the following season, he called early and he said, listen, pencil us in. They won a trophy the year when they came the first year. And he said, pencil up in because it seems like I will not carry the luck. And they came back and they played. They won another trophy and they came the third year. I think that relationship was interrupted by COVID-19.
Okay. One thing,
So they are no stranger to us.
and that's good because one thing I know about Ludlow Bernard as a coach, him like to play the country schools in practice games. Him
Yes, man.
always go for those schools who know him can get a good run. You know, I have had where I had played KC a number of times in my days at Yorton High, and so he always get a good run for him money pre-season from country school. So I do understand. But into the Champions Cup though, Mr. Douglas, what would you say is your main takeaway from just reaching the semi-finals of both competitions?
I think the main thing that we would have taken away from that is the fact that we can compete with the best. That is the main thing. The boys are youngsters, and I don't say this often, but this team that you see representing Central is a relatively young team. And they went into an environment which was foreign to them. They went into Sabina Park under the lights for the first time.
So you have never
with
played up,
hundreds, if not thousands of people.
you have never played up by Effortville?
Yes, but not under lights.
Not on the lights.
Not
Okay.
under lights. And it's a different environment when you are under lights and the crowd is basically on top of you. And the acoustics of the Sabina Park,
Yes.
the way it is designed, the noise is amplified in there. So,
Sometimes you hit
and
the ball, it coming like it's coming back at you.
yeah, man, yes, man. And they stood up. They stood up. And that is important for me. We would have loved to have won, but the fact that they competed and they were in the game for large portions of it. Because prior to KC scoring their second goal, we had a glorious opportunity.
True.
And the keeper made a brilliant save.
True.
So we're in the game.
Mr. Douglas, I want to take another break and go back to the chat because I'm sure that a number of persons now want to say a few words. Alright, so Leo Face, your captain, say respect me, brother. Alright. Dallas Harris, the principal at Central was my cricket and football coach. I think he's the present principal.
Mr. Ingram.
That man seems like he knows a lot about football. Tell me a little about him.
Yeah, Mr. Ingram. Well, his football knowledge, I have never questioned. I have never had a conversation in terms of. He does not interfere in that way. We have conversations, but it's never anything to do with the coaching side. Or,
what about general
support
discussion?
Yeah, man. But support-wise, we must give commendation to him.
Yes, yes, yes.
He has been at almost all the games. He raps up the boys. He knows every one of them by name. The captain, as a matter of fact, can take his phone and call the principal. Not many schools can say. Right?
Very good. That's a very big impact from a leader, that is.
Yeah, man.
Leo Face again. E.T. and I had some conversation about Edunal in football and Piba, Sadi, a one family man. Listen me. I am not too sure if I should get into that part there, Leo Face. But E.T., we're extending an invitation for you for Piba.
Leo reached out to me some time ago. I have always maintained my connection with Edwin somewhat.
Mr. Jeremy, let me cut you right here because I know where you're going, and I don't want any political answer right now. I am extending an invitation to you to join Piba, sir. Is it that you take it or leave it?
Professionally, sorry. Right now, currently as we exist right now, it might be a conflict of interest.
And no, not really, I mean, Piba is not so much that we're going to ask you to play a role that will drive the force for the Edunali football program. It's basically just to help us even in raising funds. It's your alma mater.
But I know, man. And like I said, I've always maintained my connection with Edunali. I'm going to say two things on it.
Yes.
One is, hypothetically speaking, you are my employer,
Mm-hmm.
and I am competing in the competition that Edwin also compete, and you learn that I am an active member of the Edwin Pass Ballers Association. How would you deal with that?
You see, you're putting me now on the spot that I try to put you on. And I will say to you, on a professional gain, as long as these things are established and we have an understanding, that's the way I will take it. But I do take your point and I do understand. And I will not force this on you, sir. I know where you're going, I know the professional reign about it. I know, I know the sort of pressure that will take you through. But never mind. At least an invitation to the PIBA functions. Oh, that's all.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Yeah, man, I might attend a function. And like I said, my connection with Edwin has been ongoing. Over the years, under the tenure of Copeland, was the coach.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, Linky was there. Even since Coach Burton has been there, I have taken my team to Edwin to play them in pre-season. I've always done that.
Okay, that's nice.
I think last time it was 2018 or no 2019. So I've always done that. That has been my contribution. I have always traveled there. And remind you, Edinal, Central Eye doesn't have a bus. So in order to go there, I have to charter a bus. Well, we have a bus now, but we never had a bus at the time. But we have always gone there every summer to play. As a matter of fact, since Burton has been here, we played them and we made arrangements the following season but to have a joint camp.
Wow.
But it never materialized. The plug was pulled at the last minute. But it's water under the bridge.
I don't want to know who pulled the plug in, but one thing I say though.
Yeah, I'm not going to divulge that either now. I'm not going to divulge that either. But it's water under the bridge. We move on.
Based on your plan, sir, that well done, and I can imagine the input. But let me take this call, sir.
Oh.
Good night. Welcome to the Saudichress show. You're live on air.
Saudi, what's going on, man? Mr. Fabulous here.
Yes, fabulous. Wignall, what's up, man? Welcome to the show, sir. Your take.
Big up the coach and everything.
Yeah, man, he's hearing you, man.
Big up the coach and everything. I mean, I got a question.
Yes, go ahead.
All right. So, the high school guys that you coach, no, I mean, I started in coaching in '93. I mean, I never stuck with it. I mean, but how do you balance, how do you balance the youngsters? I mean, into manhood and, at the same time, maintaining sports integrity. You know what I'm saying?
Very good question, Mr. Douglas. That's for you, sir.
Sorry.
Wignall, it's Wignall. Man, they call
Good night, Mr. Wignall. As was said earlier, I don't know if you joined the program yet, but I'm a teacher first. So
Yeah, we all were
it's a part of
Michael, 1993.
So that's first, and I clearly established that with the boys. That I'm a teacher first. I'm not teaching currently, but I'm still a part of the school administration, a different role. But I established that with the boys. I said, listen, I'm teacher first. I could not be a teacher had I not paid some attention to my personal development, my academic development, and so I try to mentor them. It's easier to work with them if you try to mold them and to shape them in a way that they are functioning in society in a positive way. It's easier to work with them that way. And so that is the first approach, and then the football follow that. So that's how I approach it. Other persons may do it different way, but it has worked for me over the years.
Okay. So I wasn't there when all these well, traditional secondary schools, um, you know, switched over to being high schools. I know it worked different when I was in the system for traditional high schools, where a lot of the times the principals dictate, picking the team and disciplinary issues, that we had with players. And we know that functionally with a team, of course, you need the best players. But if there are issues, that you have with players, especially in traditional high school settings, which I was in, it will deter your results. How do you handle that?
Sorry, maybe I need to divulge to
I,
Mr. Wigan.
you see, I wanted to get at it, but guess what? He asked the question, so go straight ahead. Answer.
My current role, Mr. Wigan, discipline is something that I stand for. I don't compromise on discipline. And as such, it's something that I spoke to Sadi earlier about. I don't like to make myself the center of attention wherever I go. I'm kind of an introvert. But I'm currently the Dean of Discipline at Central High School. And it came about because of the standards I set for the school, the students I teach or taught, and the students I coach currently and the ones I've coached in the past. So that is the platform from which I am now able to ascend to this position.
You heard that, Mr. Wignall? The disciplinarian in the school.
Because at the end of the day, we still, molding young men into society. Because not everybody is gonna make it in football. But they have to make it in life.
True word.
Yeah, that is so true. And like I said, that is my philosophy. Because the person who know me, Leo will tell them, sorry, I was not only a footballer, I was a very good student. I was a prefect at the Milan. So, and I was a good student at the time.
All right. So here you go, sir.
Respect, coach. Respect, coach.
Thank you.
That's how we can wish you. Not against us, but good luck otherwise.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it. We appreciate the thing, regardless of the final result.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wignall. Very interesting questions that you posed there, because that issue of discipline is on my agenda, to put forward to Mr. Douglas. But not to really take up too much of the time as it relates to put myself in the position where Mr. Douglas is. But, as coaches these days, when you look at your real role in a particular school, it's not like some of us who just come in to coach. We are actually employed as teachers, and so we have different positions. My last few years as coaching, I coached when I was at Yuatan High School. I was coached as a dean of discipline. I was coaching one time as I was an acting vice principal. So those capacity would have actually put a lot of pressure on you as a coach, to develop these boys, not just for football, but they are the very same one that, you will find on the indisciplined side in our life. All right, another call that is coming in. Let me take this one. Good night, caller. You're live on here. This is the Saudichress show.
Good night, Saudi. Good night.
Good night, Teacher Bob. We have Mr. Douglas here on set with us.
Mr. Douglas.
Yes, man.
Good night.
Central coach, right?
Same man, same one.
Okay, well done, Mr. Douglas.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Well done. Just call us with a congratulations for your runner up, and wish you the best luck in the future.
Man, thank you. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
All right, Teacher Bob, that's you for tonight. Respect, man. That's Teacher Cutty Bob. Let me just take another few in the chat. So Leo Face, oh, we have that one already. So Gonna for Life, Fabulous Mr. Wignall, 87 years. G Prento, big up Sadi, congrats coach. Big things ahead as a coach. Alright, Gary, you're not trick me this time, but your name G Prento. G Prento, wanna see that the chat is a man named Donald Whittick here, sir. Big up yourself, big brother. Those men, they tried little football while they were going to adrenaline. I can't call those scores because I am afraid of those reminisce, you know, those domino scores and netball scores in those days. But big up yourself, G Prento. You people started the foundation somewhere, somehow in sports. Dale Thompson, Dunga. Damn right, Mr. Coach. Can't change tactics the day before. It never work and it will never. Gonna for Life, Dale Thompson, why do you think you can't change tactics the day before? Of course, you can change tactics anytime you need to, even within a game. Where do you get this BS? Alright. Boopy Brown, you retract that message. Boopy Brown, big respect, ET. Keep doing the good work. Me rate you. Number 10, him a go place. Alright, yes, he's going places if him take it serious. So I don't know how serious he is, but I know he's a very good youth. Alright, MGTV, bless up Mr. Sadi and Mr. Douglas. Respect MG. I want to tell you, say MG is my YouTube mentor. Big up yourself, Mr. MG. Respect. You know MG, Mr. Douglas?
Yes, man, MG. I want to tell you something, Sadi. I started MG, following MG when he was known as another name, you know, because we support the Sleep Football Club.
What was the name? What was the name? Tell the name, man. Nothing wrong.
Yeah? The military gunner.
Alright. Him still use it, you know. If you look now, him hashtag thing, him can't live out the military because of time life.
Yeah, man. I know.
Alright, big up yourself, MG. Leo Face, ET is an example of discipline and hard work. Hard worker in every area. That's true. MGTV, well done on the work, Mr. Douglas. Alright, so we see those chat coming in and we have had a few calls, so let's continue our interview. Mr. Douglas, we know you normally reach home early at night, so you will have a problem going to bed early, so we're not keeping up your time. So we continue, Sir Douglas. So as I said, Champions Cup, Doncaster Cup semi-final. You had set your target for this team to reach at least the semi-final. I heard you, at least.
At least.
How much of a chance did you give yourself reaching the semi-final? How much a chance did you give Central Eye to win the Doncaster Cup this season? Out of 10, give me, seriously, out of 10, how much of a chance did you really say? The fact that you had that target.
Alright, I'm gonna put some context to it and then I'm gonna give you the odds.
No problem.
After we qualified from the first round, and most people who are followers of the Doncaster Cup would know that if you get out of a zone in Clarendon, you stand a good chance of going all the way. And I know a lot of persons will probably not agree outside of the geographical area, but it's a fact and
it shows. You're right.
And we came out of a tough zone that included Glenmore High, Old Harbour High, so Denby. So we know that once we got past that, we would have had an opportunity. Then when we saw the rankings, and we drew Irving, and Irving was one of the touted teams.
Yes, so
coming out of the.
That's true.
Yeah. We won both legs, including going down to Irving on a school day and winning, playing with 10 players for 42 minutes of the second half. So we knew then that this team had character. We always knew that we had some talent. Early season I was questioning in terms of the depth of talent, and I thought this team probably in depth of talent wasn't there. But we knew we had some talented players, and what they showed then was character. And then when we came back against Edunal, I realized that they can go up another level if they just believe. And then we started working on the mental part of the game. And we started counting games instead of thinking about opponents or thinking about winning generally. And we just say, listen, 3 games to go. And when it came down to two, we said games to go. When it came down to one, it was the same approach. So we just started going game by game. And remember, we started out with 80 plus teams. And when you reach a point when you are 2 or 3 games away from the championship, you have to start believing that you stand a chance. And I think going into the final, if we had executed on the night, because we had our plans, we had our plans, but we also knew that we had limitations within the team. So we were hoping that the players could execute the plan. And I watched the game over. As a matter of fact, I watched the game on my way from St. Elizabeth. I watched the game.
Wow.
Yes, when I started my assessment and my evaluations from then. And even this evening I was having a conversation with some of the players, and things could have gone differently. We started poorly, but then we came out second half, and for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I thought we were in the game. And then we conceded. Had we not conceded, I thought it could have been different. But that second goal, I think.
And Sir Douglas, you're talking about conceded, While you were 1-0 down, I see your boy how hit the bar with a stunner.
Yes,
maybe
man.
If that goal was scored at that point, who knows what would have happened? Because you were
in that point,
You were in the game at that point. Of course you were.
Mm.
And that's how football is, You see, I wouldn't call that a chance because he made that out of nothing. That's raw talent and skill. Seeing an opportunity and to hit it from 25 yards out. Rattle the crossbar. Keeper get beaten all ends out. Wonderful shot.
I want to tell you something, sorry. He is a very passionate player, an emotional player.
Yes.
And I thought in the first half, a lot of the problems we had was him and his desire to win. And sometimes it works against us. Because what happened in the game is that Guyana College went down our right side a few times. And his natural instinct is to go over there
and cut the play
and stop what was happening. And because of that, he gave up the middle of the park. And so half time I had to say to him, now listen, you can't play for everyone else. You can't neglect your duties to go and perform someone else's duty. You have to allow them to perform.
Yes.
And for that, that's how minutes when he came back into the middle of the park, that's when that chance was created. And then he left the game. So his desire to win, I think, is something that it is a positive in some instances, but sometimes tactically it's a nightmare for a coach.
Yeah, especially when he is dependent, because it doesn't matter how we think, boss. When a player have that thing, even in our back of our mind, that is the player that will take us out when we are down.
Yes.
A big name player normally come up big to save the day. And he was trying. He worked very hard through.
Yes, man.
Let me just take a few because I have a question coming up for you which may take you a little, shake you up a bit. But Mr. E.T. Douglas, listen to this one, boss. Mr. E.T. Douglas, can we get some of the ballers to Edwin? You don't need that central.
Sorry, I don't even know if persons want to touch that now. Edwin got one of my most accomplished players, last season, and he helped them to win a trophy. So you asked about me being a part of PIBA. I contribute like Jaime Thomas.
You never send Jaime down the man.
So you're welcome for thanking me for Jaime.
Alright, thank you too. But the PIBA and Edunalin, they have also, repay Jaime somewhat. And
yes, man.
And that is how football is. That is what PIBA and by extension Edunalin, that is the direction we are trying to go. And I'm sure that you have that sort of plans in and around Central too. Because, as I say, we are all for the youth. It's not just for the football or on the field of play, but for the complete development. You know. So,
I'm sorry,
mhm.
I'm not sure. Was it Wigner that called earlier?
Yes,
Yeah, I'm happy that Jaime has moved on. Tremendous talent. But it's
is.
something that we try to inculcate into our players. The COVID might have curtailed, but one of the things that I pride myself on is ever since I went to Central Line. Did it at Patience Golden as well, but every year after football, we have players moving on to college or university. And that is something I pride myself on.
And that is good.
After 2017 team, 7 players from that team went to college the following September.
And as a coach,
And that,
with your background, if that never happened, I will see you as a failure.
yes, man.
So that's very good. That's very good. All right, this one, you know this name, Caspro YT. So Castro YP, Caspro YT, or Castro, you know that name? All right, so Caspro YT, you probably need to call in and talk. Respect to my dean. Congrats, sir. That seems like one of your boys. Or is it that student? Alright. So good for life. Boopy, big up your brother. Alright, big up brother. Respect. Joel Smith, better luck next year. Alright. RR. Yeah man, Wally pa clap, clap, clap. Big up Coach E.T. and Taffy. The Clarendon team's top and flat. Oh wow. Flat Clarendon. It's good look from Germany. Are you coming from Germany? Let me know if you're participating from Germany. No? This sounds very interesting. All right. So yes, make mention of Coach Taffy a number of times, Mr. Douglas, and Coach Taffy, yes, from Edwin. He has landed Edwin our first and only senior cup, our senior championship in history. Which, you know, we have to give thanks, and we have to we never put our mouth down. We show our appreciation, and we continue to support the program. And so, you know, with much respect, you and Taffy, the fact that, you know, I said on my show the other day, the Ben Francis final and the Doncaster Cup final will showcase two of Edwin Allen's finest youth. And we want to see they both win. You know, we had our own predictions, but you know, we have to have at heart and where we are. So, RR, yes, sir, you're coming from Germany. Wow, wonderful, respect, man. I hope you have subscribed, you know, and continue to like. Press that like button before you go, RR, and share, because we want to get some of your German colleagues here on the Saudichress show, you know. Unfortunately, that your country team has gone back home from Qatar very soon. They grace us with at least 3 matches. We appreciate them. All right, big up yourself. So that's where the Saudichress show is, people. It's all over Europe. So we have people from all over, as far as Kuwait, the Middle East. You know, one of these nights you may very well hear we interviewed somebody from one of those World Cup teams out of Qatar. So make sure you join us every Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8:30 p.m. This is where you get all the information that you could have wanted. And please, if you don't hear me touch them, call in. Start the discussion. We will find our way. And I'm sure this night is running very fast. And we'll have to get back Mr. E.T. here. You know why? Because he's very close to so many of us. And tonight alone will not do such more. All right. So you have lost, you came up with an empty-handed approach this season. Unfortunately, you have made it to the Champions Cup. Was it the semi-final, by the way? You also, was it semi-final or quarter-final for the Champions Cup? Quarter-final. And you have made it to the Doncaster Cup final. Quite an achievement. As I said, very few schools or very few people thought Central High School stand a chance of winning the Doncaster Cup. Even though, you know, I guess it was based on who you went up against. The mighty Clarendon College. The Clarendon College team who we believe could get beaten, but it will take a lot to actually overthrow them. Mr. Douglas, that was a very good season from you. What's next for Douglas for the rest of this time? Schoolboy football done. Will you see you in any club settings for the rest of the football season in Jamaica?
Well, I got an offer yesterday for a club, but I'm very calculated in the things I do.
Okay.
I have a job outside of coaching. Sometimes it's an hindrance because sometimes when job offers come, you cannot just get up and go because of the job that you currently have. And in Jamaica, coaching is not something that is secure. We have job security. So you cannot give up your regular 9 to 5 so easily.
Yes.
I'm not that type of a risk taker. I have my family to take care of.
Or even play shot.
So that's it. That's it.
I
But
understand.
I have had offers.
I understand what you're coming from, because even what I did as in our stream, my streaming, a lot of persons from day in day out they ask me how do I do it, how do I find the time. It trust me, time management is very important. It's very difficult. It's not easy, but when
It
you're
is,
doing
it is.
something that you love, accompanied with what you actually have to be doing, you'll find a lot of success and a lot of happiness in it. So I do understand. But by the way, is it what level of coaching you're talking about? What level of club? You don't have to say the
Uh,
club, just
the offer is a major league club in St. Catherine. That's one. I have had some other offers, but it's not immediate. I mean, long term offers have been made. But like I said, I have to think about the decisions I make. I have invested a lot in myself, my education, and so I have to be careful in terms of what I do. So I'm thinking about my next move.
Mr. Douglas, you may not see me as a elder now or as a what you say now, a mentor, but I can give you a few advice. Don't be afraid to ask. You have surpassed my capabilities and success as a coach. I have to look up to you just now. But
I'm not see that way now, sorry, because being where I was on Saturday does not allow me, does not cause me to feel any sense of superiority to anybody else. I am a student and I learn from everyone. I say to my students all the time that listen, it's a two-way thing. We learn from each other and I listen to persons a lot. You are still more experienced as a coach than I am. And that is something that you cannot discount. So if I need advice and I'm not sure about something and I think that you are the best person to call, so I'm going to call you. That's me.
yes, that's
That's
true.
me. Um,
Well, I'm just saying that, because look here, I'm not looking at because you reach final why I say it, Aniti. You know that, we're coming from afar away in the coaching thing. We see where we
yes.
had, learned and we had made our strides. So when I'm saying that, trust me, it's not just because you reach the final. I've seen the work and I've seen it in more than one institution. So that give me enough to say, well, this man is really an uprising coach. And what makes it even what I am so proud of you, not just because of your achievement, but where you are coming from, Edwin to the world. You know, I know that Edwin Allen has invested a lot in you. I've given the opportunity to play, given the opportunity to probably, I don't know if you have, well, you was a prefect, so you had leadership traits that were inculcated in you from then. So now you understand where this whole discipline thing and thing coming from, eh? Coming from the grassroots days. Mr. Douglas, what's next? What's the plan for next year?
Like I said, I always do some reflection at the end of each season. It started with me watching the finals on my way back from St. Elizabeth.
Okay.
Most of these players are eligible to return. I think we lose 3 players from the entire squad. Two starters.
Only three?
Three.
I think you're
Three.
losing your captain, right?
Pardon?
You'll be losing your captain.
Yeah, the skipper goes. And Shane, the number 11.
Okay. So you still have Bako?
Yes, man, he's great. A lot of those players in the starting 11 now. Quite a few of them are coming from out of our under 16 program.
Okay.
Yeah. Our goalkeeper is 16 years old.
Very good. Very
Yes,
good.
so. And like I
So,
said, all season, we haven't mentioned that. Because some persons will hide behind the fact that hey, it's a young team. I've not said that very often. Because talent does not have age. And if you are in it and you belong in it and you are capable of performing, the age does not matter. So, to answer your question, we might lose some of them because we don't know if they will return. Some are currently in sixth form. As a matter of fact, we have players in upper six who are eligible to play again. So we don't know what they will do, what the decisions their family will make. But regardless of what happens, we'll have to find a way. We cannot just allow this to be a one season wonder and then we go back to being in the shadows. So we have to put the plans in place to ensure that we have a sustained run, competing with the big boys. And with those, we have over the years prior to COVID, most persons from the Maple era would know that Central had a place in the Major League, Clarendon Major League.
okay.
The requirements have changed in terms of what you need in order to compete. You have to register as a club and as a company and all of those things. I'm in discussion currently with the principal to see if we will be able to continue our journey. That has been our main source of preparation in terms of getting our players experience. We started in 2016. By 2017, we were in the quarterfinals of the Costa Cup, so it has worked. It has worked, trust me.
So that's a good thing. It gives the boys more football. So the Costa Cup competition is over now. And so they will have an opportunity to continue playing together as a team. Playing at a higher level competition in terms of even physicality, even the whole actually, because I say higher level because of the age bank, it's senior football, so to speak. Even though I believe that schoolboy football, is at a higher level than the major league thing. But saying that to say, I mean, you have a lot of major league teams that probably since you're not playing one, you could actually get some of your boys to play, among some of these teams.
Definitely, but and I'm not trying to beat down on anybody. For me, where they go is important. Like I said, I was having a conversation with some of the boys this evening. The important thing is for them to play and to be in a structured setup. Because we don't want them to go to a team where they just turn up on match day and play, where there is no proper structure and all of that. That does not benefit them because if they start to pick up the bad habits as they get older, sorry, it
Dangerous
makes your
thing.
job.
Dangerous thing, I know.
Yeah, man. So it can be counterproductive.
And that's why
So
I
the
say
right environment have to be there.
that's why I say you probably would have known a few of the clubs that you probably couldn't trust them. And you're right, because trust me, bad habit is a thing that is very, very difficult to change. Very difficult. And so especially, especially footballers. I
That's true.
understand that. We can't hide the fact, That's the reality about it. And we see it at all levels. Alright? Well, Coach Douglas, I must say to you, we have had a very, very long, we're almost a hour and a half chatting all by ourselves, a few calls. But before you go, let me just take two more in the chat that we have seen. Leo Face, I heard that Dingtil coach is Edwin Allen past students. That's accurate? Yes, Leo, but it's not a past. He was not a past student of of many years, so to speak. I think he had spent 1 year, 1 season at Edwin. He had spent the season at Edwin, what I was told, during the time when Lenny Hyde and those guys were introduced to Frankfield High School. And
That's Neely?
Neely, yes.
Okay.
So when Lenny and company had left, based on the negative response from the administration at the time, that's what I was told. He stayed back and represented, Edwin, or should I say, Compre, or Frankfield High School. So yes, he's a past year. He was a past student, and I had that conversation with him recently, and he told me how it actually went. So you can imagine that time if Lenny Hyde and company had stayed at Frankfield, we would be the Clarendon College of Clarendon or Frankfield College. But that's how it is, then the school had a different view or a different mission as it relates to upbringing and development, and so I don't think football was one of those what would I say, one of those elements that the school would want to take on then. So that's it. So yes, O'Neil Thomas he played for Edwin Allen too. So you see what happened in this year's competition. Edwin Allen had 3 coaches who played against or among each other in this year's competition. So Edwin Allen played Dingtil played Central, Edwin Allen played Central. So it was really a triangular thing. It was.
I never knew that, Honestly, sorry, I never knew that. And Neely is my good friend.
Yes, man. That's how it goes. I mean, it was so far then, and it wasn't anything to talk about. So maybe Neely wouldn't even mention it, because those were the years when they have seen a lot of mangoes. The type of mango score there, the number 11 and all them thing. So you get 2 number 11, you're going up. But that's true, Leo. It's some fact about it. He was gone for life. Do you think that the championship could work as a points accumulation system as opposed to a knockout round robin like it is? What do you think about that, Mr. Douglas? You think it could work as a point system? I really don't think
I think one of the problem, the question was asked also about the Ben Francis and the Walker Cup. I think one of the problems besides of it is that because sports usually are done during the term, and
yes.
Football is the first term. There is limited time for these sort of competitions to be running. That's that way. So they would have to extend the football competition, the time period for the football competition for that to work out. I would assume.
And remember, it's not just senior football, it's all football, except for girls football.
Yes, yes. And one of the big challenges to Saudi, which most people might overlook and haven't been a part of that organization in the past, is that Jamaica is now having a crisis as it relates to match officials. So there's a shortage of match officials. So having many games being played at the same time would pose a challenge in terms of providing officials to officiate in these games too.
You see, I don't know. I had this conversation with Principal Garwood, former FIFA assistant, recently on this very same show. And we alluded to the fact that there's a shortage of referees. Not just in St. Catherine or Clarendon, but over the entire island. No, I had proposed some time ago that the federation should lead the charge through ISA and also within the schools, having introduced the referee course to students who are doing PE from 4th form. And that would have given them the opportunity to sort of like or given some interest in referee. Now, one of the things that people may understand, the referee does not get a lot of thumbs up as it relates to comparing to a coach or a player. And so it's not
And
so.
the abuse.
Yes, and the abuse. Some people not just going to take up themselves. Especially now. Nobody talk or anybody tell anybody how much money a referee can make. They're not saying that. But yet still we're talking about shortage of referees. We need something attractive for these referees. We have the best
I was going sorry. Like I said, I was a part of the organization. So I have probably more intimate knowledge than you.
Go ahead.
The problem, I think, especially St. Catherine and Clarendon, is not attracting persons towards the referee organizations. It's actually retaining them. And some of the issues that you pointed to a while ago are factors that cause youngsters who join the organization not to want to stay there. And you said the idea about introducing it to schools, I have done that. And most of those persons that I introduced, there was a time when I had players playing the Costa Cup who were qualified referees. But after a while, the system to retain them and the profession not being attractive kind of helped to push them away. So something has to change.
Has to. And I was saying to somebody earlier that I have a young lady that I will definitely bring on this show, a referee out of St. Catherine, former student of mine, somebody who I've encouraged to do physical education and sports. And she's now one of the upcoming top referees, female referees in the island, Nerissa Goldson.
Yeah, man, I know Nerissa. Yeah, the other one is my student too, Odette Hamilton.
Yes, I know Odette is here. Listen, me man, you can't make me just give a little thing and make me get a thumbs up, Bridget. You have to just knock me off.
Show our journey has been
it's similar. So right.
So I'm following.
Yes, and I also have another youngster, a male who is an assistant referee, coming through those guys that I have introduced to, sports education at Yuatan High School, and now they are actually in the ranks. So these are the little things, people need to take steps to eliminate the factors that would have been, pushing away. And sad to say, Mr. Douglas, I gave you 2 minutes earlier to introduce yourself. And you can imagine it's coming to the end of the show and you're just telling the people that you are a referee, sir.
Like I said to you earlier, I'm not one who will talk about myself. I'm very uncomfortable talking about myself.
But they don't know you.
Honestly. Yeah, but it's not something that comes naturally. So you see, like you mentioned something now, it may trigger something, but it's not something that comes naturally for me to come and start reading off my accomplishments, accolades, whatever. It's very difficult for me to do that naturally.
Okay.
Yeah, man, but I was a part of the Premier League, the elite referee group in Jamaica.
Okay, very good. I know that too. I always wanted to see you at my games, but you never chose to do my matches. You're afraid of the friendship pressure.
No, not really.
Alright, so that's your life story over football, schoolboy football, and so on. You can't leave the show without we touch on what we believe is the greatest show on earth, Mr. Douglas. And just before you go, Leo Face is still asking, you're still doing refereeing? You can't. Then we stone him. Can't coach or ref at the same time. Bad business. So, another one. Gonna for life. Messi, CR7 or Neymar. Who will lift the cup?
That's a question. They're a very important person,
How is that one?
And it's not my team, but when you're looking at the game, you look objective.
Okay.
They're looking at the French number 10.
Oh, hey, listen to me, man. That is a youth when
so you have to factor in as well.
The way me respect.
You're gonna call those 3 names, you have to factor in that one too.
Mbappe. And you know what I say, he have a better chance of winning than all the 3 names he mentioned here.
It's not my team,
You have a better chance.
But
I understand. You're afraid of them. I mean, know why you're a team, You see, anytime a man can call out them team, or afraid for them team,
Who is my team?
A popular team, man. Popular team. So you're afraid to call because you don't want to get disappointed.
No, man, I'm not afraid.
Who's your team at the World Cup?
I have not been as into this World Cup, mainly because of the time constraint.
I understand.
But let me say it first, without even saying my team. My favorite footballer was Rivaldo. I guess that the team that I was.
No, sir, it doesn't tell me. Rivaldo play for Barcelona. Where's he play for?
But not in the World Cup.
Talk to me, sir. Who is your team at the World Cup?
Yeah, man. Well, sentimentally, I support Brazil.
I know, man.
Sentiment.
Yeah, you see the Brazilian fans. We know, you know. I'm a Brazilian fan too. We know. But one thing I noticed with Brazilian fans, they're afraid to talk because they know, say, boy, it's only a side around for kick you out of World Cup. Yeah, man. It's only a side. I'm afraid that youth in name Mbappe. That youth is a genius. All right. So, I know you're a logical coach. You're a well-thinking sports administrator, put it that way. You're a footballer. But outside of being sentimental to Brazil, which team you think have the best chance of lifting this World Cup?
Like I said, I haven't watched as much of the World Cup as I would have wanted to. Maybe because of the time that the games are being played on work and all of that. But I saw France the other day. And going forward, they are looking really awesome. They have faced the transition game is exceptional with people like Mbappe and Dembele.
Yeah.
So I think they have a good chance. Yeah, man, Dembele, they have a good chance. Brazil's squad is awesome. But I think also the Argentines are very motivated to give Messi a World Cup.
That's so true.
So I think the winner will come from one of those three.
You know that Argentina and Brazil will possibly meet at the semifinals. Once they move to the semifinals, they will meet at the semifinals.
Yeah.
So that game, I don't know how to call it, but that game, I'm not seeing that game as a very good game. I think it would be a cagey game. You know, there will be a lot of nerves. Brazil always expecting to win World Cup. This is Messi's last World Cup, I believe, and so you'd want to go all out. Messi always mess up in big games. As long as they get a penalty, you know, just give Messi, why miss it? What do you say about that? Right, so
well, I heard the other day, you know, and I heard you reading out the stats as it relates to Messi and penalties and all of that. But if that is a flaw with him, a player that otherwise is a genius.
No, listen.
And
Messi is good. I think Messi right now is the GOAT of the sport. I think he's the GOAT.
I think the thing that and like I said, I'm not an Argentine fan. I know there are many Argentine fans, maybe in your fan base. I'm not an Argentine fan, but I think I started watching Argentina more when Messi started playing for them because of the impact that he is capable of having on a football game, even when he's not playing well. At any moment, you can find something out of the ball. And he's selfless. And that is the thing I admire the most about him. He plays with his team.
That is so true. That is probably one of the big difference with Messi and Neymar. I think, though, we're talking about Messi, he's the big player of the competition. No doubt about it. No, absolutely no doubt. One thing I'm sure, Messi always have a top game against Brazil. Always have a top game against Brazil. Even if he miss a one penalty, he might create a lot. Because over the years, the Brazilians always give Messi a whole lot of space to do in magic. Whole lot of spaces. And so that semi-final, as I said before, will be very, very key. You know, I watched the Brazil game today, and for the life of me, I couldn't believe that the coaching staff of Brazil actually allowed Neymar to play 80 minutes of football.
Coming from injury.
Still injured. Still injured. I thought at halftime they would have pulled him. Leading 4-0, and you have the what you call the most creative player in your team. The person who gives the most trouble. Because I feel no way, you know. You see Neymar, right now, in world football, he's one of the most dangerous players with the ball in foot. You get what I'm saying? He will not be the man where I go pop up and score like a Messi. But he create a whole heap of problem with the ball and foot. And because of that, that's how he got injured. You know, he should
but
have...
it's man management, sorry. It's man management, and
yes, of course.
it's very important. It's a fine balance, because sometimes you're too reliant on a player and you think that the team cannot function without him. But they were forced into a situation the other day where they had to play without him and they got results. So playing him for 45 minutes probably would have been a smart thing to do, especially leading 4-0. But
no, honestly, I couldn't believe that he has gone on to do that. Anyway, so today's game, let us look at today's game. I don't think you're actually watching. The first game was with Croatia and Japan.
Yeah, Japan.
That game was a very hard running game. I think the Japanese ran Croatia to the ground in and around the field.
We were having a discussion. I think it was my assistant or somebody else around the team, and I was having a discussion about that segment. And another thing that I was pointing out to them is that this Croatia team is an aging team.
It is, yes.
And the Japanese are fit and efficient. So if it's a close game, unless Croatia can put it away early, the longer the game continue for, the greater chance Japan would have of winning the game.
But, you know, it was Japan who took the lead, you know.
Yeah.
The game, Croatia came back. But what I noticed during this game, and what brings a little, what would I say now, history back to me, and I want, maybe you can assist me, was 1998 the first year Croatia went to the World Cup?
Yes, I think it was Croatia, Jamaica, and Japan.
Alright. 3 teams went to the World Cup the very first time in the same group. And they played with Argentina.
Yeah.
No, it was Argentina and Croatia who advanced. But look at it now. Japan and Croatia found themselves in the round of 16, competing for the quarterfinal. The same teams, even though we lost to Croatia 1998. That was the team we scored our first World Cup goal on. My memory served me right. What was this player name again? Analyst from England. Robbie Earl. A beautiful header that he had scored. But saying to say, it gives me now a situation to say where Jamaica football is now. It's really unfortunate. And I said to somebody that day, I'm going to stop saying that we never make good use of our opportunity. It was so long ago. It's what, 3 decades now? Almost. Yep. 3 decades. And we cannot make it back to a senior World Cup. And based on how things look now, it will be difficult because all the teams in and around the region have been stepping up. Believe it or not. Good?
That is true.
But so, you know, when I look at those 2 teams today, I said, my God, why couldn't Jamaica be competing at another World Cup? You know, that's the reality. So Croatia won on penalties. Very, very poor penalties that the Japanese did today. You saw them, sir?
No, I haven't seen the game. Like I
Oh
said,
my God.
I've been catching up on work.
The fact that they have done so well throughout the regular time and extra time, but they just basically run out of steam in terms of maintaining the composure. And that's the thing about penalty shootout. It get the better of us at times.
And his experience, sorry. Like I said, age may affect you negatively physically, but
Yes.
age and experience in those sort of pressure situations will what will tip the balance.
Well, yes, but Croatia missed one too.
Yeah,
At
man,
a crucial
that will happen
point,
in a 2000.
Croatia missed one at a crucial point. If Japan would have scored the one after, then who knows what would have happened. But
Exactly. But that is always the story at the end of
that is true. You
a
never know,
shootout. You know.
right? You never know. You never know.
We
Yes.
could
So
have and should have and all of that.
so that was the first game. We have the second game was between the mighty Brazil and Korea. I've listened to a number of persons, even on ESPN. I've heard person talking about, well, this game will not be an easy game for Brazil based on how the Koreans run, similar to how Japan run. But one thing I can tell you, no care how fast and hard running you be, if you have the skills to keep this football and pass around, the man they look ordinary.
Yes, man.
However,
It's true.
that Korean team have some good players. Just that they,
Yes, man. Definitely.
it's not a complete team. And so when you look
Right.
at it, and at one stage they were pressuring Brazil all over. Even though I believe that halftime the coach said, listen, no, just calm on yourself. And if he wanted the team to calm, why did he keep on Brazil? That's just my view. Keep on Neymar really. Good. But, it was a very good victory. Unfortunately, all 4 goals scored in the first half. But we see a brilliant goal in the second half. Maybe the goal of the match from that Korean player. Maybe.
But the Korean have good attacking players,
Yes, man.
Because I think the Tottenham Hotspur player, I think he's one of the best players in the Premier League. Had he not been from South Korea, he would have been more of a also in
Right.
across those.
Alright, Sir Douglas, just a minute. Let me take this call. Seems like a popular caller for the show. Good night, Trevor. You're live on air. This is the Saudichress show. We are with Mr. Douglas, as you know.
Yeah, man, big up, Mr. Douglas. Continue to do the good work. I've been listening to you all night. I'm a seminar call tonight, because I really want to hear. And trust me, the journey when we hear you share with us, I'm telling you, it's very moving. You know what I mean? Like you show a lot of commitment, a lot of grit, and it always goes well for your development as a coach. You know what I mean? So congrats to your achievement, Central from nowhere. As we started mentioned to you about that last round against Edwin Allen, it was one of the man never see you going through, and you believe and you make it happen. So congrats, boss. We can't say enough congratulations to you. You know what I mean? As a former Edwin Allen baller, with the first game.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
You know what I mean? So we know that feeling there. So enjoy it, man, and come again next year and see what you can pull out of the bag. You know what I mean?
Alright. Thank you, Trevor. Respect and appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Trevor.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
And you're not the Jamaica as against the Japans, and it's listen. I don't know if anybody have the answer for that, but I think the answer is very easy. It's about how much resources we are putting in our football. Because the talent is there, see.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Jamaica is not involved. I don't know if any of you guys have been to Trinidad. Trinidad do a lot even before they qualify for the World Cup in terms of developing their football. They have stadium all over the place. And we are there.
They are on the same team World Cup. They are on the same team World Cup, and they were able to build some stadiums because of that.
Yeah, but as far as they're participating in the senior competitions, World Cup level, where are they? They are nowhere. You know what I mean? Because again, their corporate community is not involved. for pump the resources in the football, you know what I'm saying?
So,
Very good point, Trevor. For real, I look at it, but sometimes we really talk the football, especially with the Jamaica thing. Me personally talk on sentiments. I really feel like we should have seen more, but very good point you have made there, man. Very good point.
We all are root for Jamaica. We all have a talk on sentiments, but the reality is we just don't have enough resources or enough resources. Because if we reflect back to that, just think about the effort the corporate Jamaica put into that program. You know what I mean? And look at the result.
True.
You know what I mean? True. Where is corporate Jamaica now? As it relates to Jamaica football, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we know we still have some of them still doing it. You know what I mean? We have to give thanks to them who are doing it. But we need much more than that football move at the senior level. Because I think I hear what I want to say also about schoolboy football. It's much more organized than Premier League football. You know what I mean? Coaches spend more time with them players spend more time together, you know what I mean, in a structured situation. I don't know the situation with the Premier League teams them now, you know what I mean, but from what I know, you know what I mean, there's not much structure in the Premier League across the board.
That's true. The club structure is really weak, I believe, And, with that in mind, too, again, as you mentioned, corporate Jamaica and what they pump in the football, that's another thing. More corporate Jamaica seeing it fitting to assist the younger youth in their development than for those so-called, elders or old.
Sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
The important thing, if you are running a business, you create a product. Then you deal with the marketing of that product, getting it out there. And then you start to get customers. We need to improve on the product. I think one of the reasons why schoolboy football, for example, never have a problem getting sponsorship is because of the way it is packaged. The product that is presented to the consumer, which is the fans. And I think we need that to be done right across the board. Right across the board. Then we can talk about sponsorship.
It all goes hands in hands, you know what I mean? But when I look at the Premier League thing, most of the Premier League teams, how are they financed? Do they have the resources to produce that product? You know what I'm saying? So we have to have the resources first before we can get the product. You know what I mean? In my view.
That is true, but it's an investment, though. Yeah. It's an investment where you get you invest and then you get the returns. So
yeah, here you go.
Yeah.
That is so true, That is so true. But Trevor, before you go, do you have any other question for Mr. Douglas? You think I've missed out anything that you would love to hear?
Listen, from afar, I don't have much to say because unfortunately I'm not able to watch most of the games. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I'm following the team and I realize that they seems to have a program. There seems to be a proper coach team based on how we see them play. You know what I mean? And one of the things that struck me with coach here is that I hear him talk about the discipline. Because I feel like most of the youth them at the schoolboy level is the discipline factor is a big problem. You know what I mean? Discipline not only in behavior, but discipline in terms of instruction, following instruction.
Yes, man. That is important.
So, kudos to that coach. But like when you saw it on one day, I believe we all want the victory. We all want win the cup and Ben Francis. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I think we gotta put a lot of emphasis on developing the players as a human. You know what I mean? Develop them, in every way, tactically, technically, every way. You know what I mean? The result will come once we do the right thing. So this is where that work for the coach. So bless up again and the coach.
Best things, man, and thanks for the endorsement. Appreciate it.
Mr. Douglas, they said that this man, Trevor Whittick, is probably one of the most successful skipper Edwin Allen has ever seen. But it's more of sentiments because he have a whole heap of friends Understand, but maybe
And
Leroy
family.
says. Well, with the family thing, that's a big one, because I myself was a captain too, and I had that success.
Alright. There was a thing at Edinburgh, where when I was there, and they said that every year there's a wicket on the team. What has happened to the dynasty?
Well, there are still Witticks there now. I think there are some little issues that needed to be sorted out, but there are Witticks still representing Edinburgh.
So why aren't they on the team?
I can't say much about that right now.
I just want to pick up all the coaches, them, the young coaches, them, not only the past, ones, but all of the coaches, them, we have them thing, man.
Respect, man.
Not for the football, not for the tougher, the tougher, the Yankees and them, I take up the thing and a coach, a schoolboy, they were going to see them thing there. All of the coaches, them from everywhere, man.
Yeah, man.
I can't just look at college,
Yeah, man.
Them treat us as good football.
Oh, yes, man. We'll have them here one night, Trevor. Trust me, we'll have them here one night. We're trying to get as much coaches as possible.
Me to get coach Lenny or Yellow, one of them generally for the program, A big up Glenn congrats, man. I'm carrying that thing.
Most definitely.
Definitely. Clarendon can't lose this year at all.
Yes, sir. So that's.
But out of here now, I'm going to call and bless up the show, so.
May I tell you?
Bless up the fabulous, win that.
Yes, man, he'll come in and bless up himself. Oh, yes, man. And as I talk about that, Windell. I hope Windell is.
Likewise, bless up yourself, man.
I want to say to all the first time viewers, because I've seen quite a few tonight, make sure you subscribe before you leave, gentlemen and ladies. Make sure, leave a like and share the Saudichress channel, because after tonight, I'm sure that the entire Central family will be on this show, at least watching the replay. Right, Mr. Douglas?
Definitely, man. Definitely.
Anyway, Mr. Douglas.
Sorry, bless up your I like a little show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday,
Thank you very much, man.
And I like the guests there when you bring on, Yeah, man. Big up Coach Barry Watts, big up Coach Jackson.
Yes.
Jackson.
Most definitely.
So, Tutu, Pastor Reynolds, bless up on yourself.
Boy, only on the Saudichress show you find such highlights, of our own people. And this is why we invite you on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Because it couldn't be done on a 1 day per week, Sir Douglas. Right now, based on how it is, we probably need all 7 days. But it's impossible to go right through like that. So thank you very much, Trevor. Thanks much for calling, man. You're one of those persons who have to call. The show can't end without your call at all.
Big up, Trevor.
Bless him up too, I really like.
I know, say, you soon see Taffy, man.
Respect.
Yes, man. Most definitely. Alright, so that's it, Coach. We are getting to the end of the show. I think you're looking around. I think you have the other saying in the country, you don't become. But I really want to let you go. You have been tired. I know that you have been doing a lot of work. Now you're back at your substantial post as Dean of Discipline. Coach, I'm going to ask you this final question. As a teacher at Central High, or let me say a Dean of Discipline, because your job description kind of different from regular teachers. Have you been paid as a coach at Central?
Pay is a strong word. I get a stipend to coach.
Mr. Douglas, I know if I call Mr. Ingram, on this show, he might say something different. Do you mind if I ask the question in a different way? So, you have been given a stipend to coach, and so
I didn't get that stipend.
I suspect that the school just right now is unable to pay or to make your request of what you work. We all understand, because I'm a coach myself. So, with this year's results and performance, I'm sure that you'll have some negotiation next year. I wish you well, because you know we all understand and people need to be rewarded. Sometimes this stipend that we get as a coach, I have never enjoyed any stipend when I was coaching. Never. Because the moment I get that, it is now spent right back on the boys.
Right time, look it. That's it. That's
So
true.
that's one of
That's
the
true.
the disadvantages as a teacher, coaching
That's
in these settings. It's more than
if
just
you care about the youngsters you are coaching, you never want to see them in a situation where they are unable to meet basic obligations in life.
exactly.
And so the natural father instinct chip in at some point. So that's how it is sometimes. That's how it's supposed to be, but how it is.
Yes. Coach Douglas, what a night. I want to say thank you very much for being up so late. Thank you very much to come and grace the Saudichress show tonight. I am sure that our fans, our guests, our viewers and listeners have been treated not just by the person who have lost the Dakar Cup final, but a man who have shown the willingness, the attitude, the positive, the mentorship that takes or needs to move youngsters. Coach Douglas, you're not just coach for Central Line, you're a coach for youngsters, and I'm sure that many persons out there are looking forward to have a conversation with you. You will not just, I'm sure you will not just get offers to go to coach a major league side. But remember where you start. You mention how loyal you are. And if there's any little change, I am an agent, sir. Don't be afraid to contact me. All right?
And
And
yeah, man, thanks. I appreciate you having me, sir.
and most definitely. And
Appreciate it.
don't be surprised. Another invitation will be coming out, sir. I know we have
All
missed
right.
a
No
few
problem.
things, and just how it goes. So just listen
No,
to
no problem.
the last couple of chat. We were backing up Leo face. France will not win the World Cup. The big teams with the better defense will win. Wow. France conceded in every game they played. Well, me agree with you about the most scored teams. Well, see our next man say, gonna for life. Leo face, all you have to do is to outscore your opponent. So if you win 3-2, you still win. Alright, Leo face, gonna for life. The team with the better defense displays a gonna oh is that gonna win the World Cup for big teams. Alright, so you said the teams that has the better defense, this player gonna win the World Cup. Alright. RR, would you one day consider to take up company job if Taffy move on? That's for you, Sir Douglas. I guess that's the final
But
question for you.
all of that is hypothetical, that's if and buts and like I said, I have deep connections with Illinois. Anything can happen in the future. But as it is right now, Patrick Burton is a good friend. I think he's did an excellent job. And I think institutions should continue to support him. And I think he can do a good job for some time to come. But we never know what will happen in the future. Never know what will happen.
Well said, Coach Douglas. Well said. Well, I know, without a shadow of a doubt, people, this man has his heart still at Edwin because that's his alma mater. That's most of us alma mater. And so, as a professional, you'll have to do just the same. I never worked at Edwin the school that I love dearly. And so I have to do what I have to do elsewhere. And so that is how we look at it. So again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. If you have not yet done, please subscribe, hit the like button, and share the Saudichress channel as we go. Wow, listen, what is this happening here? I've seen, what's this? Stelvit? Or Stellavit. You know that name, sir?
Yes, man.
Stellavit Ingram. Continue to shine, Sir Douglas. We enjoy having you at Central. You made a difference. Mr. Principal, how comes you just a command for the show? Sir, look at the screen. Let me hear from you, man. Make a call. Your big bad coach is here. Very loyal to you and your school. We have 2 minutes to give you, Mr. Selavit. Respect Mr. Ingram. I watch you, motivating your team right throughout the games and so on, and it was very good. So thank you very much for to come in. Make sure, sir, you subscribe to the channel. Mr. Douglas, I'm counting on you. I've seen quite a number of new people and I know them are your fans. Let
Yes,
them know
man,
we are
definitely.
all one. Alright? So Mr. Ingram, respect man, respect. And you always continue to tune in to the Saudichress show. This is where you get entertainment, sports and education here at the Saudichress show. We do live streaming as well. And so the numbers are at the bottom of your screen. In a little while you will see. But for now, please remember to subscribe, like, and share your views. So again, Mr. Selvin, you're late. Was here all along? Oh my God, I did. Sir, you need to come out earlier, man, so we could bless up the man. Trust me, bless up yourself, Mr. Principal, because we know without your input, Mr. Douglas and his boys could not get the success that they shared this year. Again, thank you very much for tuning in. Alright? Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we leave you. This is where we say goodbye for another interesting show. And so we'll see you in another few nights. So today is Monday and we'll have another show on Wednesday night, 8:30, where we'll have another interesting guest. And so don't miss this one. If you miss this one tonight, unfortunately you better go and watch a replay. And you can't participate in the call anymore. And so do not miss the Wednesday night show. VIP services, bless up and big up all the people. Yes, VIP, you're one of my sponsors. I hope you see it run along the screen because you don't know. VIP for life. VIP services, the man they call Damien. In a few time, you'll see what Damien possesses. Again, alright, thank you very much and have a good night. For those of you who are traveling, please be safe on the roads and so we'll be able to live free and enjoy the Christmas as it comes. Once again, good night to you all. Sir Douglas, respect man.
Respect.